بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. If we can all read the Durood Sharif together. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إلا تنصروه فقد نصره الله الذين كفروا إذ أخرجه الذين كفروا ثاني اثنين إذ هما في الغار إذ يقول لصاحبه لا تحزن إن الله معنا صدق الله العظيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Looks like nobody can hear me. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah. Looks like we need a reminder that when a person came into the masjid, he walked in and he said, Assalamu alaikum. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said 10. Another man walked in and he said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said 20. And a third man came and he said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam replied 30. And he said, these are the amount of rewards a person gets for each one of these ways of giving salam. So whenever anyone gives salam, we should try our best to give the salam back. And the salam is not just a salam, but is a dua for one another. We are asking for peace, mercy and blessings of Allah be upon one another. For the past couple of weeks we have been listening to the life of some of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum ajma'in. Last week we listened to the martyrdom of Hazrat Hussein radiallahu anhu, the beloved grandson of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And before that we listened to how Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu passed away. Today we will speak about the man who Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam guaranteed Jannah many times during his lifetime. He gave him the glad tidings of Jannah again and again and again and again. It is no other than Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu. When we look at the beginning of the life of Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, the first thing to mention is that Abu Bakr was not his actual name. His actual name was Abdullah. And his father's name was Abu Kuhafa. But his name was actually not Abu Quhafa either. His name was Uthman. So Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu's actual name was Abdullah ibn Uthman. This was his actual name. But the Arabs, they would keep these pet names for people. So as Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu's nickname, he was called lovingly Abu Bakr. So some people, they have nicknames, and this was the name which was given to Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, and this is what he is now regarded and remembered as. This is how we recognize him. When we look at the life of Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala, and the first thing is that he was very well respected in the community. Everybody knew of him and they would always go to him for advice. And we all know that he was the first man who accepted Islam at the hands of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That as soon as Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam came towards him and he called him towards the deen, he accepted Islam without any hesitation. Straight away he listened to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he accepted it, because he knew that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a trustworthy man and he had always spoken the truth. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions himself as well, that out of all the people who I went to, as Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala was the only one who, without any hesitation, straight away he accepted Islam. This was one of the things known about Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala an. Another thing about Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala an was that we can look at so many different things which happened during the lifetime of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One of the things is when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam went on the journey of Mi'raj. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he went from Mecca to Palestine, and then from there he ascended all of the heavens to finally meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now the mushrikeen at that time, they came after hearing this story, they started to laugh and they couldn't believe that this had happened. So they went to Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala and they said that your friend is claiming that he went to Jerusalem and he went to all the heavens in one night and he came back. And they were expecting Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala to join in with their laughing, but he says, if Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said this, then it must be true. And because of this, he was given the title of As-Siddiq, Abu Bakr As-Siddiq radiallahu anhu. We can look at all the different things which have happened in the lifetime of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and throughout everything it was always Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu who was by his side, no matter what was going on and when it was going on. One example of that is when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam would pray salah in front of the Kaaba. The mushrikeen, they would always come towards him and they would taunt him and they would throw things on him. And one such time, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was praying his salah and they started to do things to him. To which Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he came towards them and he said, are you going to? He said, أَتَقْتُلُونَ رَجُلًا أَن يَقُولَ رَبِّيَ اللَّهِ. And are you going to kill a man just because he says that his Lord is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam came to give you the truth, and this is what you are doing. On another occasion, as Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala and he went and he defended Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and they were beating him up so badly that he became unconscious. He became unconscious and he got taken away. And they said that his nose, it became completely bent. And he was lying there unconscious. And as soon as he woke up, he asked, how is the state of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam? How is the health of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam? To which they said that you have just been beaten up so badly, you could have been killed, and all you are worried about is Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, yes. And they said to him, here, have some water. Drink a sip of water. He said, I'm not going to drink a sip of water until I see Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he continued this way, and until he did not see Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had to be dragged along by two women to go and see Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when he finally saw Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his face lit up and he became so happy. This was how much love he had for Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In another narration, it mentions that once he went to see Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was ill, just seeing Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam in that state, he became ill as well. He became ill as well just because his beloved was in that state. And then Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam found when he got better, he went to see Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. And when Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu saw that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam had got better, he automatically got better as well. This was how much love he had for Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know, today we look at the kind of love that is given out in society. You know, we have the love between fathers and their children. We have the love between a mother and her children. We have the love between friends. All of these different things. We have so much love going on. But none of it can compare to the love that the Sahaba radiallahu anhum had for Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. That they were ready to do anything for Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. When the time came for hijrah, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the time had come that to emigrate from Mecca to Medina. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam came to the house of Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. Now he usually had the habit that he would either go see him in the morning or he would see him in the evening. But on this time he came due at midday. And Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha and her sister Hazrat Asma radiallahu anha, they mentioned that as soon as we saw Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam coming at this time, we knew that something was up. And once the command had been given, Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he became very, so pleased that he had been chosen to accompany Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam for this journey. And he got everything ready. He had prepared 2 camels and he sent them away. And Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala and his father, who at that time he was not a Muslim, he heard that Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala was going to go. And then he came, and after he had left, he asked his daughters that what has Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu left behind for you. And of course Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was such that he was ready to take everything in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He took everything that he had, which came up to the sum of 6,000 dirhams. He had everything he had, he took it with him for the hijrah. And when the daughters were asked, what has your father left behind, who was blind at the time? And what they done was that they knew that there was no money whatsoever. But what they done was they got some stones and they put a cloth over it and they took it and they said, this is what our father has left behind. To which he said, okay, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu has done well. But of course he did not know that Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was ready to sacrifice everything that he had to go and spend it in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The times when Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would be getting attacked by the mushrikeen was such that, the people, they would ask, sometimes it would be, it is compared to, there was a man at the time of Fir'aun, at the time of Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, and Fir'aun was alive, when he was there and he had iman. He was there and he concealed his iman. He didn't tell anybody, but he concealed his iman. But Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, whenever Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would go out and when he would be attacked, he was the first one to be there. And he would make sure to protect Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So this man, Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he was ready to put out, in the open, that I am a Muslim and I am ready to protect the honor of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And when the journey finally happened for the hijrah, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they left and they were going towards Mecca, but they took the back roads because they knew that the mushrikeen would come and find them if they went the normal way. And in the narrations it mentions that sometimes Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he would walk at the front and then he would go and he would walk at the back. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would ask that, why do you keep chopping and changing? He says that when I feel like the enemy is going to come from the front, I quickly run to the front. When I feel that they might be at the back, then I quickly run to the back. This was how much he wanted to protect Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And when he finally got to the cave where they rested, he went inside and he made sure that all the holes were covered. And we have all heard this story again and again and again. But the more we hear it, it really makes us understand how much love Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu had for Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That he covered as many of the holes as possible. And it wasn't that he had, a couple of cloths in his pocket. He ripped his own clothes, own pieces of his clothes, and he put it into the holes. And then when he had just hardly anything left, he put both of his feet in the remaining holes. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is resting on the lap of Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. And Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he gets bitten by a snake on his foot. And At the same time, he's still sitting there, no movement whatsoever. He does not want to disturb Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he is sitting there, and because of the pain, a tear comes out of his eye, and it goes and it falls on the blessed cheek of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. At which Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he woke up and he asked, "Oh Abu Bakr, what is the matter?" And he said that, "I have been bitten by a snake." He said, "Why did you not tell me?" He said, "I did not want to disturb you while you were sleeping." This was the love that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam had for Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, and vice versa. But not only there did it stop there, but Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he sucked out the poison, he put his blessed saliva on Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu's foot, and it became healed. Again, another miracle from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this occasion has been mentioned in the Quran as well. إِذْ يَقُولُ لِصَاحِبِهِ لَا تَحْزَنْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَنَا. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said that when the mushrikeen were so close, they could see the feet of the mushrikeen, and Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam that we are going to get caught. He said, "Why are you worried for? Inna Allah ma'ana," that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with us. So much so that they did not get caught, and from that they were able to go towards Medina. Now when we look at how Islam has spread and how the Muslim state is today, alhamdulillah, we are hundreds and thousands and millions of us, so many. But Islam was not always like that from the beginning. There was always difficult times. But Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was always ready to make sure that the right thing was done for the deen. It has been said that when the time comes for everybody to go into Jannah, the gates of Jannah, each and every single one of them, they will be calling the name of Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. There will be a gate which will call those people who used to fast all the time, those that used to pray the salah all the time. But the gates of Jannah, each and every one of them will call Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. Only he is the one who is going to have that honor. On one occasion, a man was sitting and he was shouting abuse at Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu in the company of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was just sitting silently, and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was smiling. But then that man, he said something which really bothered Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he walked away. So Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he goes and chases after him. He said that all that time the man was shouting abuse at me and you were sitting there smiling. But as soon as I said something, you walked away. What's the deal there? What's the matter? He said that while you were sitting there quietly, the angels were giving a reply on your behalf. As soon as you started talking, Shaitan came and he sat down, and it is not possible for me to sit in the company of Shaitan. So that is why Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam walked away. This was some of the honors that Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu had. Another thing which was mentioned, see, with that, when somebody, just a brief out of, go the other way a bit, and when somebody is speaking abuse, when somebody is verbally abusing us, there's different ways of dealing with it. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he mentioned that whenever a person, he overlooks the injustice, somebody is being unjust towards you, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do? In return, he gives that person tremendous strength. Then a person, he gets strength. When a person is doing something he's not supposed to, because of us staying away from that, because of just staying quiet and listening to it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives that person strength. And the second thing is, these things are facts. 3 things are facts from Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He said, when a person, he gifts with the intention of joining ties. When a person, he gives somebody something, you get a gift, and the reason for him doing it is just so that he can become friends with that person. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will give him in abundance. Usually the person, he thinks that, if I'm giving something away, that means I'm losing out. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees his intention. His intention is good, and because of that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant him even more. And the third thing is that when a person, he goes towards begging, he's always asking for stuff from people. Always goes towards people, asks, can I have this, can I have that, can I have this? And the reason why he asks for it is so that he can amass a lot of wealth. He wants to gather all the wealth possible. Then Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned about that person, the wealth of his, it will decrease at such a rapid speed that he won't even know where has that money gone. So this is why, these things, we think that the money that we have is the thing that does everything. But we have to remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in control of everything. Whatever I do, it will only, the barakah and the blessings will only come in it if we do it in the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded us to do it. During the battle of Badr, Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu's son Abdullah, he was not a Muslim. Later on, when he became a Muslim, he was speaking with his father and he said that, "Oh my father, you know, in the battlefield, I saw you on the battlefield, but because you are my father, I went away the other way and I left you." Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he turned to him and he said, "Oh my son, if I had saw you on the battlefield, I would have gone for you. I would not have cared that you are my son or not." This was how much love he had for the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That your own flesh and blood, he was ready to sacrifice his own son. Why? Because of it going in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is why we have to try and, we hear the stories of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum so much. We hear that they done this and they done that. But the whole purpose of reading and listening about the stories of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum is so that we can try and at least bring some of these qualities into our life. That the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they would be very generous. They would try to give as much as possible in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whenever Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would command to do something, straight away they would go forward and do it. Nowadays we always look for some kind of leaving, this thing is only a sunnah, we don't have to do it. Things like that. That the whole point of a sunnah, this is what shows that we have the true love for Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That we should try and do everything as much as possible. That how can I please my Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? After when Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam passed away, when Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam passed away, the people, they turned to Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu and they asked that, "What do we do now?" And they all, there was a consensus that yes, Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu will be the new leader. And when at that time Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu was such, he couldn't think straight. He couldn't think straight, and he went around Medina and he was saying that whoever says that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam has died, I will come and I will cut his head off. But Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he went on the pulpit and he did the khutbah and he said, وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ الرُّسُلُ. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is nothing. He is just an insan, and each and every person has to die. And Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu, he mentions that when I heard this ayah, I forgot that it was even a part of the Quran. Then Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was such, he only used to think, how can the deen benefit? Today when we look into our life, we have to ask a question, am I doing anything to benefit my deen, or am I just doing everything for myself? Am I running towards the dunya, or am I going towards the deen? When we answer these questions the proper way, then we realize that there is so much more I can do to turn back towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then there were so many fitnas that came around when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away. Many of the tribes, they left Islam and they started singing songs and getting all happy. The women were applying henna on their hands and stuff like this. Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he called them all and he found out about this and he had them punished. And there was one tribe who they did not want to pay their zakah. They did not want to pay their zakah. And he sat, all the Sahaba radiallahu anhu, he sat down and said, what shall we do with them? And Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu, he had the opinion that, let's just make sure that at least they are praying their salah. In the Quran, Allah brought وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ. They would always be together. And Hazrat Umar, at least they're doing that half of it. And then he went one by one, all the Sahaba radiallahu anhu, they said, yes, we think at least they are praying their salah, let's just give them the command of salah and we'll leave the zakah for now. Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala, he listened to everybody's opinion and then he said that all my life, never did we ever, while Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was living among us, we didn't just take and pick and choose and say, okay, we're not going to do this one anymore. Because even if the value of a string is not given in the zakah, I will make sure I will go and fight in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make sure even if all of the tribes of the Arab nation come against me and I am the only man standing, I will make sure that this zakah is given. Then Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was so strict and he was so stern with his deen that he made sure that never was the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being broken. There are many lessons to be learned from the lives of the Sahaba ajma'in. But the question is that, do we want to take heed from these words? Am I going to just continue doing whatever I feel like? No, one day we are going to have to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask, "O my servant, what did you do in the dunya? What did you do with everything that you were granted in the dunya? Did you fulfill all the rights of the people who were in your life?" Now, while we are on the topic of the people in our life, I'd like to mention just a short, something very important: the value of parents. The value of parents. Understand how important your parents are. That our parents are such that if it wasn't for our parents, we would not be here today. It is because of your parents why you are standing in your place where you are today. The du'as that your parents have made for you is why you have everything that you have. Ask those people whose parents have passed away. You know, as soon as those parents have passed away, they see in their life many things just going wrong. And no parent ever wants any wrong for their child ever. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will question us, Allah will ask us on the day of judgment, how did you treat your parents? How did you speak with your parents? You know, it is, if Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, whenever he would think of his parents, he would cry, because he didn't get very long to spend with his parents. You know, many of us, alhamdulillah, our parents are older. We are 30, 40 years old. Parents are still living. These are the times when we should be looking after our parents. Parents are getting older. We're hearing stories now of parents getting kicked out of their own houses, parents getting put into nursing homes. That these are the chances, these are the times when a person is able to gain Jannah. You know, a person can gain Jannah just by respecting his parents, looking after his parents. Do whatever you can to look after your parents. When you do that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will show mercy upon you as well. Whenever the Quran has taught us to make the dua, رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا كَمَا رَبَّيَانِي صَغِيرًا, and Allah show mercy upon them the way they used to show mercy upon me when I was younger. Now, when you were younger, what were you doing without your parents? Were you running about and changing your own nappy? Were you feeding yourself? No, your father was up, he was working crazy hours during the day, and that is why you have everything that you have today. You know, think to yourself, you know, there are so many people around who, you know, over the years, the relationship with the parents is not good. But a parent, he will never say no to his child. All you have to do is come back to your parents and ask for the forgiveness. If you ask for forgiveness, no parent will be so stubborn and say, no, I'm not going to forgive you. They are looking for that opportunity. We have to try our best. Ask from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to, you know, those who are able to look after their parents in an old age, they are the lucky ones. They are the lucky ones, but only, you know, on the day of judgment when they stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this will be one of the biggest things that a person will regret. That why did I not look after my parents? I had the chance. They got so old. You know, when a parent makes the dua for their child, he goes on and on and on, and he continues to make that dua. So we have to be such that we do things so that the parent continue to make the dua. You know, today the topic was just to speak about Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, but you know, I feel it is very important that we understand that without our parents we can't do anything. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us our parents so that we are able to make sure that, you know, if you might do wrong in other places, but if a person has looked after their parents in the best way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will even show mercy upon that person and forgive him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to act upon whatever has been said. Ameen wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Perform sunnahs, please.